Robert Redford is known for his calm and charming personality, but not everyone in Hollywood was on his good side. He worked with many stars, yet there were a few he really did not like. In a world full of fake smiles and polite words, Redford stayed honest about his feelings. Some actors crossed the line, and he never forgot it. This list is not just about personal dislike, but also about deep differences in work style, attitude, and respect. These names may surprise you, but they reveal a hidden side of Redford that few people ever get to see. Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. Robert Redford was born on August 18, 1936, in Santa Monica, California. His full name is Charles Robert Redford Jr. He grew up in a working-class family during tough times. His father worked as a milkman and later as an accountant, while his mother supported the family at home. Redford faced challenges from an early age, especially after losing his mother when he was just 18. Her death had a deep impact on him and changed the course of his life. During his teenage years, Redford struggled with school and discipline. He was not a focused student and often got into trouble. After high school, he attended the University of Colorado, but was kicked out due to his drinking habits and poor academic performance. This period of his life was full of confusion and mistakes, and he often felt lost. After leaving college, he traveled to Europe, where he lived a simple life as an art student. He studied painting in Paris and Florence, working small jobs to survive. These years taught him about struggle, independence, and the importance of staying true to his passions. When he returned to the United States, he decided to try acting. He studied at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York, where he slowly began to find his path. His early years in acting were not easy. He took small roles in theater and television, often facing rejection. However, he remained committed and patient. Redford's journey from a troubled youth to a respected actor was not quick or smooth. It was built on hard lessons, deep personal losses, and a strong desire to prove himself. These early struggles shaped him into the thoughtful and serious artist the world would later admire. Now we talk about 6 actors he dislikes the most and why. Number 1. Marlon Brando. Robert Redford and Marlon Brando were both major figures in Hollywood, but their personalities and working styles were very different. Redford respected Brando's acting skills. He admitted that Brando had raw talent and a strong screen presence. However, that was where the respect ended. Redford disliked Brando's attitude towards his work. He believed that Brando often acted carelessly and without discipline. Brando was famous for arriving late to film sets, not learning his lines properly, and even refusing to follow the script or director's instructions. While some fans and filmmakers called this creative freedom, Redford saw it as laziness and ego. Redford was known for his serious and professional approach to acting. He came prepared, respected the director's vision, and worked well with others. For him, acting was not just about personal fame, it was about telling a story as part of a team. Brando, on the other hand, made things difficult for the people around him. He created delays, tension, and confusion. Redford believed this was unfair to everyone involved in the project. Because of these differences, Redford avoided working with Brando. Even though they never starred in a movie together, Redford had many opportunities where their paths could have crossed. He always chose to stay away. He did not want to be part of any film where the main actor could damage the project because of personal mood swings or careless behavior. Redford never openly insulted Brando, but in interviews he gave hints. He would speak about the importance of respect, preparation, and professionalism, values he felt Brando often ignored. Their different views made it impossible for them to work together. In Hollywood, where strong personalities often clash, the gap between Redford and Brando was simply too wide to bridge. Number 2. Barbra Streisand. Robert Redford and Barbra Streisand starred together in the 1973 romantic drama The Way We Were, a film that became a classic. While their on-screen chemistry was admired by many, their off-screen dynamic was far from perfect. Redford had serious concerns about working with Streisand, mainly because of her strong personality and controlling nature. Before filming even began, Redford was hesitant to accept the role. He believed that the script was written in a way that heavily favored Streisand's character, giving her more emotional depth and attention. Redford was known for being private and subtle, both in his acting style and personal life. Streisand, on the other hand, was bold, expressive, and very involved in the creative process. She often made suggestions about the script, direction, and even the way scenes should be shot. While some viewed her input as passionate and committed, Redford felt that it was overbearing. He believed that she tried to control too much of the film and that this affected the balance of their performances. During filming, Redford maintained a professional attitude, but he found the experience draining. He felt that Strysand's strong presence took away from his own role and turned the movie into a personal showcase for her. Even though the film became a hit, Redford avoided working with her again. He later admitted in interviews that the film was too focused on her, and that he felt like a supporting character rather than an equal lead. Their relationship was not one of open hatred, but it was marked by deep differences in how they viewed storytelling and teamwork. Redford valued calm and quiet professionalism, while Strysand brought intensity and control. This mismatch led to tension that never fully disappeared, despite the movie's success. Number 3. Warren Beatty. Robert Redford and Warren Beatty were often compared to each other during the height of their careers. Both were handsome, successful, and popular leading men of the 1960s and 1970s. However, behind the scenes, Redford did not enjoy being placed in the same category as Beatty. Their rivalry was not based on talent, but rather on personality and values. Redford saw Beatty as flashy, attention-seeking, and overly involved in the Hollywood social scene. Beatty's reputation for dating multiple actresses, partying, and using his charm for publicity clashed with Redford's quiet and more private way of living. Redford believed in letting his work speak for itself. He avoided gossip, rarely talked about his personal life, and focused on building a career based on quality roles and meaningful stories. Beatty, on the other hand, was often in the headlines for his relationships and celebrity lifestyle. Redford felt that Beatty cared more about fame and image than about the art of acting. The two actors were also very different behind the camera. Beatty liked to control projects, often stepping into roles as producer or director to shape the film exactly how he wanted. Redford also became a director later, but he did it for creative reasons, not to feed his ego. Redford reportedly found Beatty difficult to trust in a professional setting, believing that his decisions were driven by self-interest rather than teamwork. Although Redford never publicly attacked Beatty, people close to both actors noticed the tension. They were rarely seen together, and Redford avoided working with Beatty, despite having similar fan bases. To Redford, Beatty represented a side of Hollywood that he disliked, the loud, glamorous, and self-promoting culture that often overshadowed real talent and hard work. This silent rivalry lasted for decades. Number 4. Steve McQueen. Robert Redford and Steve McQueen were two of the biggest stars of their time, and naturally, comparisons between them were common. Both had rugged good looks, a calm but strong screen presence, and a fan following that stretched across the world. However, beneath the surface, there was strong tension between the two actors. Redford did not like McQueen's competitive nature and believed that he often acted out of insecurity. While Redford preferred staying quiet and focused on his craft, McQueen had a habit of comparing himself to other actors and measuring his success through fame and box office numbers. McQueen was known to turn down roles simply because another big actor had shown interest. He also demanded certain privileges on set, like having more screen time or better billing. Redford, who valued fairness and team effort, found this behavior childish and selfish. He believed that every actor should focus on the story rather than personal image. Redford was especially frustrated by the way McQueen turned every project into a competition, as if acting were a race to the top rather than a shared experience. There were also rumors that McQueen blocked Redford from certain roles and projects because he saw him as a threat. This made Redford even more distant. He had no interest in playing games or proving his worth through rivalry. While he recognized McQueen's talent, he did not respect the way he treated others in the industry. Their paths never crossed on screen, and that was no accident. Redford made a clear choice to avoid working with McQueen. Their personalities were simply too different. Where Redford believed in calm professionalism, McQueen chased control and dominance. This deep divide kept them apart, both on set and off, for their entire careers. Number 5. Tom Cruise. Robert Redford and Tom Cruise came from different generations of Hollywood, but their paths still crossed in meaningful ways. Redford, known for his serious, thoughtful approach to filmmaking, did not appreciate the kind of celebrity culture that Cruz came to represent. While Redford never directly insulted Cruz, he expressed dislike for what Cruz symbolized: style over substance, image over depth, and business over art. Tom Cruise rose to fame in the 1980s and 1990s as a charismatic, high-energy actor who often took on action-packed roles. He became known not just for his acting, but also for his public image, media appearances, and involvement in the business side of Hollywood. He co-founded a production company and became deeply involved in controlling the direction of his own films. To many, this was seen as smart and ambitious, but to Redford, it seemed like a shift away from the core values of storytelling and honest performance. Redford believed that actors should let the story shine rather than constantly keeping the spotlight on themselves. He saw Cruz's over-the-top stunts, media buzz, and sometimes dramatic public behavior as distractions from the real purpose of cinema. Redford also disliked the growing trend of blockbuster-focused filmmaking, where the goal was to sell tickets rather than to say something meaningful. In many ways, Cruz represented that change in Hollywood. Even when Cruz took on serious roles, Redford reportedly felt they lacked emotional depth. He believed Cruz was more focused on being a star than being a true artist. Their styles and values simply did not match. Although polite in public, Redford kept his distance from Cruz and avoided working with him. To Redford, Cruz's Hollywood was loud, fast, and shallow, everything he had tried to avoid throughout his own career. Number 6. Paul Newman. Robert Redford and Paul Newman are often remembered as one of Hollywood's most iconic duos, especially for their legendary roles in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969. Over time, they developed a deep friendship and mutual respect, but things were not always smooth between them. In the early stages of their relationship, Redford felt overlooked and even disrespected by the way he was treated during the film's promotion. This early tension led to feelings of frustration and resentment toward Newman, even though they eventually became close friends. When the casting for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid was announced, Paul Newman was already a major star, while Redford was still climbing the ladder. The studio originally wanted a bigger name to play the Sundance Kid, and Redford was not their first choice. It was director George Roy Hill who pushed for Redford, believing he had the depth and charm needed for the role. Although Redford got the part, the studio heavily focused the film's marketing around Newman. Redford felt sidelined, like a backup character in a story where he was supposed to be an equal partner. This early imbalance created a quiet tension. Redford admired Newman's talent, but he did not like feeling second to him. He wanted to earn respect based on his own work, not just ride the coattails of a more famous actor. For a while, Redford kept his guard up around Newman, unsure if they could truly be equals. However, over time, their shared sense of humor, strong work ethic, and similar values helped them move past the early conflict. They went on to form a lasting bond both on and off screen. But in the beginning, Redford's dislike was real, and it took time, trust, and understanding to turn it into lifelong friendship. Robert Redford may be known for his calm nature and thoughtful performances, but his journey through Hollywood was not free of tension. His dislike for certain actors was not based on jealousy or drama, but on deep differences in values, professionalism, and respect for the craft. Whether it was clashing egos, unprofessional behavior, or personal rivalry, Redford chose to distance himself from those who did not share his vision of serious, respectful filmmaking. These conflicts reveal a man who stayed true to his principles, even in an industry full of pressure to compromise. In silence, Redford always stood his ground,